Welcome, everybody. It's River City Plus, the show after the show, and
Show after the show.
it's the show
I like
after the
that.
show. Eddie Whisler is
I
here
feel
from the.
privileged to be a part of it.
We're
Thank you.
privileged to have you here. He's here from the Mosh, and you were a part of River City Live today, and we got to see some. I'm going to use a word my dad would drop occasionally: glorious, glorious pictures from space.
Yeah, perfectly reasonable word to use.
Right?
Haven't we all seen glorious pictures from space?
From space, I feel like if we haven't, you're about to. So lucky you.
Yeah.
You brought with you today some pictures from the big giant James Webb
Yep.
Space Telescope.
Yep. In
Or-
space. No, we put these telescopes in space because we don't want to look through the atmosphere. You have all of this pristine light coming at us. Pristine. Like it's been unaltered, more or less. In the distance that it's traveled to us, the light years from these distant places. And then in the last couple of miles, it passes through the atmosphere and gets all kinds of distorted by the atmosphere moving around like a fluid and turbulence and moisture and and so astronomers had enough, put these things in space.
So just
Now
bypass
we
that.
see, yeah.
So it literally it's literally like if you put your camera in front of whatever's blocking you instead of behind it,
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
see right through it. So that's why all of the sudden, when I say all of a sudden, I know for you all it's been a lot of waiting and excitement built around it, but all of a sudden the public has these pictures that are clearer and more exciting than we've ever seen.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, we made this move. I say we, like humans, have made this move in putting telescopes in space in the 90s already. Hubble was the big one, right? But what James Webb is just bigger, more high definition, like more quality resolution coming in on the images and so on and so forth. So.
Well, let's see some of these pictures. I know
Yeah.
we're going to get to see just even from my perspective, that just looks like beautiful wall art. Like if you never change that monitor again, it could just stay like that. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah, no doubt. Which is why, computer companies choose to go with screensavers for their computers as a default with space images, right? It just aligns so nicely with our tech savvy culture in the modern day and all of the rest of it. And so this is what's called NGC, which a new general catalog. It's it's part of a catalog. 346. So that's the lovely name that these officially get. But
Like
it's because-
droids on Star Wars,
Of course.
you want to call them by a really cute name, but they've got a number and a letter. You got to use that.
Yeah. You
Am I right?
got to.
You have to.
But you kind of have to name these things like this because there's tens of thousands of these locations and you're trying to catalog it. And then they get pet names like there's the Rosette. In a moment, we're going to see what I call the T-Rex Nebula, and there's no missing it. Like,
Cannot wait to see that one.
there it is. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Boom. Okay.
Let's talk about it. Why is
So,
this the T-Rex
look,
Nebula?
The T-Rex Nebula, because I'm going to do it like a weatherman.
Yes.
Watch this. These are the teeth up front on the top of the jaw that you're looking at. We have a snout right here at the front. You have one galaxy way up in there. That's the eye. And then this is the lower jaw of the T-Rex mouth, almost like it's chomping on cosmic cereal right here. Do you see?
I completely see it
You
now. I
can't-
can't unsee it.
You stole the words out
I'm
of my
sorry.
mouth. Like, you can't unsee it. And so, as far as I know, nobody calls that the T-Rex Nebula, but I'm primed to see T-Rexes, and boom, there it is. And
That's
so,
something. Wow.
So what this is a star forming region. So everything that we're looking at, there's a lot of diversity in the different kinds of things that we can see in space, but we're kind of on one line here with the images that I had you all bring up, and they're all star forming regions. Like here's another one right here, and what we get is a batch of stars that forms inside of clouds of dust and gas. And then once they turn on, they have these stellar winds. It's just energy that the stars are blowing out. And they push the dust and gas, and you get these kinds of columns and stuff like this. So what we did in the live segment was put out some flour on the tabletop and then blow that flour. And in areas of like higher density, the flower is harder to move and the other flower moves around that. And so you get these kind of streamers of dense flower. And so same thing is happening in space with, dense columns of dust and gas. Those are just the harder ones to move. And you can see everything is peeling back from the stellar screams of the stars that are.
It almost
Right
reminds me of if you had water and you dropped some oil in the water.
I love
and then
it.
you
Yeah,
like blew on that and it would just kind of, you could see where it would like move around and bubble and it's just so fluid looking.
Yeah.
Is that a fluid situation we're looking at right there?
I mean, if you define fluid in just the right kind of way, we have a lot of movement in space and things are in motion and we're capturing that motion. That's never going to look any different in your and my lifetime, but indeed that is a temporary arrangement of material in space that is actively undergoing changes that take place over the course of tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of years.
Wow.
In this case, some stuff we talk about is on, timescales much longer.
And this is really moving. Is that computer generated what we're looking at there?
Yes, but it's not just computer generated for its looks. This is part of a simulation that scientists run. They put in all of the constants of nature and try and make things as accurate as possible in terms of gravity, radiation, stellar winds, outflows, stellar outflows. So if we could show that again once this is done.
There it goes.
Every time you see like these kinds of these stellar jets, you can see them right there. They're just pushing out. Those are events that happen over the course of thousands of years, and every time you see one, that is a new star forming in this particular nebula.
Oh, wow.
It's part of the early formation. It's a short phase in the early formation of a star like our sun.
And set to music, that would be really cool, which I know is something that happens at the Planetarium.
Come on, that's my wheelhouse.
I mean, come on.
If you set it to music and you have just the right lyrics, like some rehearsed things to say that touch a nerve, and you have the music and you're looking at it, then yeah.
And that happens at the Planetarium.
Come on, of course, that's the scene.
That's
that
what
I set.
we do. That's what we do.
That's what we
so
do.
I want to talk about that, but I also
Yeah.
want to ask you about this series you have for 55 and over. And are we? That's my demo. Are we more curious than kids? Are we more know-it-alls when we come in to your series, or what? A little bit of everything.
I get no know-it-alls.
Yeah?
And
More curiosity?
I'm not a know-it-all, right? I do all the hard work in order to like prep myself for the show, but we just have. So when I first started the series, I knew that we didn't do programming for 55 and older out of the Planetarium, and I wanted to have a program that any age group could come and enjoy the universe and have that come to life. And so we started the series and quickly became my favorite audience because there's a level of curiosity, and these are accomplished adults that are, now 55 and older. You get a variety of different people that are coming in, but these are adults with adult minds asking adult questions and asking rigorously and really curious, like earnestly. And so the Planetarium is just a place where folks can light up their brains no matter what age. But all the different programs that we run for the different age groups have their own feel when it comes to the audience. And so I would say strikingly curious and while also knowledgeable about the world and things and open to new ideas. It's
so
my favorite
cool.
audience. Yeah. Plus
Because-
we get to have coffee and donuts. And
Well,
all
I
of the
mean,
other
yes.
cool
I
stuff.
mean, ultimately, what you want is to be busy, productive, and always learning.
Yes.
So that feeds to them what they need. But I just think that as I get older, when I see something like this, now I have a better feel for how big and how small the world feels.
Yeah.
So when I see space it blows my mind in a different way than it ever really has.
That's exactly right. Like that, and that's what we see. Right? It's just a more mature look. I mean, so I'm 46, and in your 40s, you start to, I do at least, start to feel like I've seen like more things because you're busy doing all the stuff, and then you can reflect on it. And I have kids and all the rest, and I just know that that's the journey that a lot of the folks that join us for the Silver Space Series are bringing to the table. And so the questions that we get during the intermission, so it's set up like this. We have a theme of the day, and tomorrow it's 900 days of the James Webb Space Telescope.
This.
Right? 900 days of scientific operations. And so we try and squeeze all that into like 45 minutes. Then we have an intermission with donuts and coffee, water, snacks. I collect questions from the audience, and then we come back for a final 25 minutes or so with the questions, and I use the Planetarium in order to answer the questions.
I love that, because then if you're shy and you want to go for the first time to something like this, you're not having to like raise your hand and ask a question. You can submit it. That's fantastic. Eddie, usually it's like, okay, we have a lot of time left to fill, but you and I just, this just flew by. So thank you so much for coming. And you promised that you would holler anytime you guys have something very exciting happening, which is every day, but you know what I mean. And we are happy to have you. Mosh.org is where you can learn more. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you can find the event calendar there, and join us if you're 55 or older. We have a morning just for you in the Silver Space Series. We do it every other month, so there's 6 of them a year.
All right. Thank you, Eddie.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.